Circular design strategies are key to lessening the environmental impact of design. You can see 4 core circular design strategies you would refer to. We introduce these strategies in teaching fashion students concept development and design creation. This time we will go for more about design for low waste. For fashion, we may use dead stock fabric that is left over from the mill and garment factories, vintage clothing that you repurpose or other unused or waste material. Design for low waste has 3 categorizations: zero waste, upcycling, reconstruction. Zero waste is a design technique that eliminates textile waste at the design stage. Upcycling is the transformation of materials into products of equal or higher quality. Reconstruction is the process of making new clothes from previously owned garments or preformed finished clothing products. Upcycling is upgrade plus recycling, and it is defined as the creation or modification made to the product before it reaches the end of its life, with efforts to improve the quality or value than the original components. I want to show some fashion brands labels with their innovative upcycler design. The first is Hye-won. This brand uses truck traps and fully compostable textile to create bags and accessories. Second, Nicole McLaurin. She is a New-York-based designer. She shows unexpected translations of materials that allow her to highlight the message of sustainability uniquely. For example, she has transformed old valuables into slippers and camera bags into bracelets. I also want to show Justin Mensinger. He used sustainable, recycled, and renewable materials in streetwear, and this ties nowadays very fashion-forward style. His upcycling technique is patchwork, and this was influenced by his grandmother. It is very obvious that upcycling fashion product has more recognized as one of sustainable creation and consumption because of their exclusivity and product value. That is why, as we educators are encouraged to embed the element of sustainable development because of the significant role of university in sustainable development. We provide upcycling workshop and zero-waste pattern cutting technique principles within 12 weeks state project. As you can see, these are in week 9. The detail of the upcycling workshop is here. Duration is total 3 hours, and first year of university students who are studying fashion participate. And the aim of workshop is to modify a garment in a method that students think their target audience and customer profile would buy into. The first students will modify the garment by twisting, draping, and fitting and modeling onto the stand, but they are not allowed to cut the fabric. Then they start to cut the fabric to modify the shape. And finally, they also modify the garment to the final chosen method that students think their customer would wear or to wear, and they need to photograph and evaluate. One of the techniques students choose is draping, which is allowed to create unexpected shape. The students choose to experiment with trousers, which make a great resources for the length of the fabric to manipulate around the body, but this is also creates some limitations with such a specific length of the fabric, not width. The garment that nearly 1/3 of students choose is a t-shirt. They all started with altering the neckline, and using the idea of the trim was also popular. The fastening and bow and binding of students also link upcycling to zero waste by incorporating leftover elements of fabric as a trim design detailing. We also find that upcycling workshop was inspired to create a new shape, and this was inspired by final design outcome, and they noticed that fabrications impacted the outcome as they experimented with the garment, and this gave different recreations, not like experimenting with curriculum.
We embedded upcycling into the fashion design curriculum at key points within the module to challenge and develop the students' understanding of this method of sustainable practice. Once they learnt the basics to create a variety of stretch garments in the sewing workshop and pattern cutting construction techniques, students were equipped with the knowledge to understand the link to upcycling within the design development stage. This opened up opportunities for students to explore stretch through construction and surface design. This flowed through into the final outcome which the students produced, which is very different to other modules that they have took part in. Just to give a little bit of detail of the module, so it was 3 hours for design, 3 hours for construction sessions within 8 weeks. It was for level 5 students, which is the second year at university, focusing on fashion design. The aim was really to develop creative and technical exploration skills, which built upon the students' skills which they'd gained in the first year, to provide professional practice in readiness for the third year, which they can really take forward and develop this skill within their own major project. Key objectives really was focusing on stretch fabrics through research, innovation, experimentation, really looking at the properties and experimenting with this to create a new fit and drape specific to stretch, and looking at how to manufacture these garments through that manipulation, and to really develop their own research whilst working within stretch fabrics. Here's a couple of student outcomes within the module where really you can see that they experimented with upcycled stretch fabrics to create a new look, including a top and a bottom inspired by a sport. A variety of techniques were really explored by students, and as you can see, the outcomes are really diverse and varied. It allowed them to have fun whilst learning and developing a new style that really interested them. Students explored both natural dyeing methods as well as potato printing. They used household objects to really create organic outcomes. Many associate sports and athleisure as bold, bright colours on stretch fabrics. So getting a natural, bold colour was really challenging, which really was a series of trials and errors the students learned. This was something new to the students and provided a variety of ways to change the surface design of a fabric, even though the outcome wasn't always predictable. When it comes to fabric manipulation, students learnt to weave. They layered up leftover discarded fabric and created a new texture. A lot of these techniques took time and effort to create and really added value to the final outcome. It gave it a unique selling point. With draping, they experimented both on the stand and on the mannequin. It was really popular as it allowed students to not be restricted through traditional pattern cutting techniques. It made them utilise what fabric they had and challenged really their method and thought process. These drapes created unique one-off pieces which added a selling point to the final look for the intended audience. Students brought together a variety of skills. They experimented, such as the natural dyeing, where they soon learnt that it was quite troublesome from a quality control point of view. They couldn't get a continued outlook, which was exactly the same. But it worked really well to successfully upcycle independent outfit, a one-off, Patchwork was super popular as it allowed them to control elements of the colour and build up that look within that one upcycled garment. Really, a lot of them used the remnants redundant fabric when making it, which normally it would be just discarded. They used this through embroidery. This particular student embroidered it into the mesh as well as weaving it into the garment, which really kind of explored and experimented with the new surface pattern that she created. Students' feedback was really positive. They described the method as really fun and easy to use. The fact that I don't need to buy anything new is quite exciting. Next time I definitely use a bit of hand embroidery to upcycle my garments. A lot of the students thought that using a fabric would give them time to change the shape of a garment completely into something quite new. Sometimes they didn't always understand it at times, but through trial and error and experimentation, it really brought together new ideas. The upcycling was really embedded in 3 elements, so challenging students' sustainable thinking, creative design, and garment construction. Overall, the fashion students' experience really developed a sustainability ethos within their practice, which they can continue to develop through into their industry, as well as educating students to become socially responsible with knowledge and understanding to equip them to create an improved sustainable future for the fashion industry.
This video has been created by Dr. Hye-won, lecturer in fashion design at the University of Leeds, Elizabeth Burton, lecturer in fashion design at Birmingham City University. Thank you for listening.